Hey everyone, welcome to Dave's Bonsai. On today's episode, it's time to start tackling the plant room. Summer has come to an end. Well, pretty much. We're in the first weekend of September, and that means fall weather could hit at any time. We're going to have some cold temps in the evening time, and we're going to have to start thinking about the white stuff down the road, but it's way too early to think about that. It is, after all, the first week in September. But what's not too early to think about is making preparations for the plant room. I have not really touched the plant room since we took all the last plants out earlier this spring. And of course, my greenhouse, if you will, my portable shelf system within the fish tank closet area where a lot of the trees will be going under the LED lights. The question is always how I'm going to rearrange the plant room so it suits my needs best for filming, for the plants, most importantly for the plants, some filming episodes, and making more room for more plants. I'm going to have to put some of the plants from the Minnesota Bonsai Society workshops, the leftover tropicals, in my plant room. So I have to make sure there's plenty of space for them where there's going to get plenty of light. And one of the ways I hope to do that is with a new table that I've acquired from a neighbor. So one of our neighbors that we recently got to know in the last year here, was kind of a bummer. We got to know him a little bit too late because he's moving. Actually, he left this past week. So as I went back to work at school, getting ready for the kids to come on back next week, he was in a truck, in a U-Haul, heading down to Florida for good. But before he did that, he was able to have a garage sale, get rid of a lot of stuff, and then he had these two tables left over. Really solid metal-based tables, kind of a copper color, and this really thick glass top. I said, we'll take those, and I'm gonna put one in my plant room. So before I put it in the plant room, I have to get it a fresh coat of paint, and so we can have it all look nice and neat and tidy before I put it down in the plant room. So we're gonna get some black spray paint and put it on the table, the bottom part that's kind of this copper color, and it'll look nice and clean and new for me. And it'll have that nice glass top, so we can have no worries about watering trees and water seepage and spillage and all that kind of stuff. Easy to clean up as well. Let's get to work. So unfortunately for me, the second stall of the garage is still got a lot of stuff in it. We've got the old snack shack construction that the kids had a little bit of a lemonade stand on this year a couple times. We got some cushions that are trying to keep dry from the last rain we had. Taking apart a bed. We're going to sell a bed. We no longer need the twin bed for one of the kids. We got a full for Jake. And here are the tables. So we got two of them. And so these are just loosely placed onto these massive structures. This is probably 1/2 to 3/4 inch glass. Super heavy duty. I would venture to guess 50 to 60 pounds, maybe even 75 pounds. Super solid. And to hold up the glass, we have this metal base. It's a little bit oxidated. There's a little bit of copper color, a little bit of a greenish color from the oxidation on some of this copper, this gold color. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna sand it up just a little bit, smooth it out just a little bit in some spots. And we're gonna put a coat of black paint on there. So we gotta lift the glass up carefully, find a place to put it, get this outside so we can do some spray painting on a beautiful 75-degree day. So let's get to spray painting. Where am I gonna put this guy? As I'm sandpapering the metal stand, I'm getting this really thin coat of really lightweight, almost plastic that's around the poles here. It's just kind of was like snowing off snowing off this little white stuff. I have no idea what that would have been. But now we got a nice smooth surface that the spray paint will make look nice and evenly colored, and it'll just pep it up a little bit for down in the plant room. And even though a lot of plants will be up on top, you won't see much of the tabletop, that's for sure. I want it to look somewhat nice. So let's finish the rest of it. I got it up off the grass. I should have access to the entire piece of furniture here. So time to go change the clothes, shake up the paint, and let's get this thing a different color. Can number one looks pretty good. We got over 95% of it completely covered. I've got 2 more cans just in case. To put the glass back on the table here, I want this rubber to stay rubbery, and it'll stay rubbery, but I don't want it to have black paint all over it. So I'm going to go ahead and take some tape here, and I'm just going to cover the top of this. Doesn't have to be perfect. We'll let it stick over the edge a little bit, and that way it'll stay true rubber material and not have black chips in it. And I'll spray paint around it. Top to bottom, I think we're good. We'll let it dry here. We'll take a peek at it in a couple of hours and see if we have any touch-ups we need to make. So this phase is complete for now. In the second stall of the garage here, as sturdy as these glass pieces are, 75 pounds plus it feels like, they're going to be sturdy. They probably won't be damaged too easily. But with a 9 and 11-year-old roaming around on their scooters and rollerblades and all their stuff back here, this is danger waiting to happen. So time to move this down into the plant room. Very, very heavy. Yeah, that is one beast of a chunk of glass. We got it down here okay. The next question is, of course, where we're going to put it. But until the paint dries and we get the stand down here, we'll have to just keep it up against the wall for now. Plus, I probably should do some tidying up down here before we bring anything else in. So I better do that. So that's the workbench. There's still some stuff on the bottom shelf here, but we've cleared out the entire bench. We'll put some boot trays here. We're gonna get a whole bunch of trees in here in the wintertime. We've got the north-facing window. And I meant to wash this window, the screens and the window inside and out last year, and I never did that. So before I get all my plants in this year, I better get to those windows and I'll tackle them soon. I'm not gonna do that right now, but I definitely will tackle them before the plants come in for the season. So that's just this side of the room. I think we're making some progress. So I swept the floor, I cleaned up some of the shelves. We still have the boot trays here. We're gonna bring them outside and get them all completely clean, hose them off so they're just spotless clean, no dirt. We'll take care of that. Got some of my pots up on the top shelf. Fish tanks are just solidly in place. So we're pretty clean. So now we have to make sure we have a good design for where this new table's gonna go and what to do with the old tables. And I got a special picture that I want to see if I can fit somewhere in the room. So let me grab that real quick. So my brother is an artist. He's been drawing pictures for as long as I can remember. And he's done some amazing work. And so trying to get the reflection of the light on there. But this is a picture of my grandfather. We call him Gramps. And my brother actually just was in a mood to pick up his drawing again. So about 4 years ago, he picked up some of his charcoal pencils and drew Gramps from a photograph from the 1950s. And he doesn't usually keep his stuff that he does. And this was originally given to my mom, and she has another picture that he drew from back in the 9th grade that she has in her house. And they're about to move and to scale down. And she was gracious enough to let me bring this to my home so I could display it. So Gramps was one of the artistic members of the family, and he was a photographer. And that's where I got my joy in taking pictures, soon which became into videos. And my brother was the artist, and he also does some video work. But that's Gramps, and I have to figure out where I can put him. Well, he'll be displayed here somewhere in the plant room amongst all the greenery. He was a guy who loved to be in the outdoors, and when we were up at the cabin, when we were really, really young, we called it the shack. It was our uncle's place. And we got to go up with Gramps once, I think, once or twice in the really early years. And we got some fond pictures of that. But gonna find a place for this guy. So let's see where it might fit. So it's not gonna be hidden over in the fish tank and the small closet where the plants go in there. So I have this great big open wall here that I shoot some of my videos with the backdrop. And so I'm gonna have probably a table right here, probably the new glass table. And so I figured I'd put Gramps right up here. We'll get Gramps going right there. And then we'll have the plant table right here. We'll see how high it is and see how high the plant is and see if that works. And if it doesn't work, I might have to put them over here by Uncle Jim. And we'll move Uncle Jim maybe a little bit. So for the time being, I think over here, somewhere over here, is going to be a nice option. It all depends upon how high this table comes off the ground. I think it's about this high. And then there's going to be plants though on there. So I think we might just be able to get it. And then he'll be amongst all the plants, keeping an eye on things as we work on our artistic flair with Bonsai. So I think we're done in here for now. We're going to go and wash out those boot trays and do some other tidying. And when that paint is done drying, we'll take our next steps. So time to keep working. The paint has dried. My son popped over and gave me a quick hand before he had to get going. We went kayaking today. Beautiful day, still water. We kayaked and he helped me lift this into place. So I got all the boot trays washed. I got the table in place. I gotta wash the glass portion now. It's a little dusty. We have a little bit of a wobble. We'll have to figure that out. So what I think I'm gonna do is I think this table is gonna serve my work table for bonsai videos because it's big. It gives me a lot of space to work. And then I'm gonna cram up the old work table over there completely with bonsai trees. We'll put some trees over here, trees over there in the kind of greenhouse, if you will. And shop is set up. So super great, super excited. Super heavy duty table. As soon as I get rid of the little bit of wobble, that's from the floor not being plumb, I'm sure, we will be good to go. So everything is just about ready. The next stage for me is to order some more lights. So I know with the Premna and the Melina, show you some pictures of the Premna and Melina that I did with the Minnesota Bonsai Society July workshops. They're gonna need a lot of warmth, they're gonna need a lot of light. And I need at least 2 more lights for my greenhouse area. I need a new light for above the fish tank, for the fish tank forest that's usually up there. The plants over here I think will be okay, but we're gonna get probably about another 3 or 4 of the 75 watt full spectrum LED lights that just hang real nice. They're super thin. We'll get those ordered up. So we'll order those, we'll wait for those to get in the mail, and then we'll put the plant room a little bit closer to final shape before we bring plants in the next month. While I'm waiting for some lights to be delivered, let's do an update for today's show. And today's update is not the kind of update I like to bring, but for transparency's sake, and hopefully for a lesson learned for me and sharing with other people, we have all our trees that have really suffered from the over-fertilization from a couple episodes ago with the chemical fertilizer. Let's get a little bit closer and show you the trees. So generally I like to spin my trees at the end of an episode to show the new look of the tree. But this literati style Kishu Shimpaku, one of my nicer trees. The trees that one of the 2 trees I'm working on with one of the workshops with Minnesota Bonsai Society, the Fundamentals Workshop. And what I'm struggling to identify is if it was the fertilizer that killed some of my trees or possibly tip blight. There's a couple of trees that seem to present themselves as tip blight. Here is one of my Shimpaku junipers that I've had for a couple of years now, and I cut back about 75% of this tree due to what might be tip blight or a result of the over-fertilization. So tip blight, typically common in juniper, it's a fungal disease that can cause tip dieback and twig cankers, and if it's not caught early enough, it can certainly cause death of your tree. And so when you see brown tips on your junipers and then it starts to go through the branches, if you didn't get it early enough, you're not going to be able to probably save your tree. So this tree has gone through quite a transformation because again, I did take away a large chunk of the tree. This whole branch was infected. This branch was infected. They're gone. There's a little bit of life here. There's life over here. So tip blight can be taken care of with a product that has mancozeb or the thiophanate methyl in it. So again, mancozeb or the thiophanate methyl in it. I have not used these on my trees yet. I don't have any of those on hand. So that would be something I could use in the future. And again, make sure you're watering your plants down below and not in the foliage area. And take all the dead stuff off and hope that the tip blight is managed enough for you to keep your tree alive. We'll see what this one does. As we've cut off most of the dead tips, we'll keep to managing that. We'll water down below. We'll keep it in good shape as best we can until we see health or if it gets worse. The other one that I'm kind of bummed about as well is I got this at one of the auctions a couple years ago. This is a Sabina juniper and another literati style that had some really nice movement to the trunk. We got some dead wood over here, and I was gonna keep this growing out here and again maybe make some movement, bring some things around. And this one still has a little bit of life clinging to it here, so we're going to see if there's anything here we can salvage. But whenever we have a conifer or a pine tree and we lose this much foliage, there's very, very little hope for a tree like this to stay alive. The evergreens are evergreen for a reason. They're photosynthesizing all year long, and they need a lot of foliage or branches just die back. So the Sabina juniper, another one on the casualty list. This one I do believe I showed earlier, and this is a like a Jim Dandy winterberry or a winterberry tree. Started to get some new growth. This one is still alive. This right here is still alive, and there's a little bit of green left where these last few leaves were. There's a couple of little tiny remnants of leaves on here. So this one is still alive. This is not dead. It's bendable. This one's even bendable, slightly alive. If I do cut into some branch, there's still some life here. So though this one isn't completely dead, I don't have high hopes for it. But there is a cambium layer in here, and some of our deciduous species, like a Japanese maple, you cut all the leaves off and defoliate, you get all this new growth. They grow real fast. I'm not sure how this winterberry is going to react. We have buds back in here that could all of a sudden reignite. And so it's in a protected shady area, so it doesn't, you know, dry out profusely with the really warm summer days we have left here, or early fall days. We'll see what happens with the winterberry. Here are the two spireas. This was my favorite one with the live vein that's right in here. And as you cut this guy away, this is pretty much dead. You don't see any cambium layer to speak of in these branches left. And again, a spirea, I am not sure if you completely defoliate a spirea like this, if there's enough life to come back. One of the things I did notice with the trees is there's some white chalkiness on the roots, which tells me like that white residue, was that just that total burn of the chemical fertilizer and that chlorine aspect of it, where it's just all got, it's white and pasty on some of these roots and some of the trunks of the trees. So my fear is that it just, you know, sucked the life out of these trees and got them all kind of white and calcified with that chlorine. So I think that spirea and this little spirea, it's in there firmly. These were doing really, really well. This one had some nice little thickness developing to this one with a couple of side branches. But again, there's no life to these guys when we cut into them. So, barring a miracle, I think those guys are gone as well. This one I haven't cut into for a little bit. This is the Weigela. There is some slight life to this one. I'm seeing some green. Not sure if this one would come back again with everything being stripped off. But there is green there. There's some green. So you're not done with a tree until it is completely dead. So we still have it. It was actually watered today. I watered the trees. And then I have an arborvitae. I think it's a DeGroote Spire arborvitae. They kind of resemble the Hinoki cypress. This one was doing really good this summer. Had some really nice foliage. And as you can see, all the foliage now is dry. It's just fallen right off. And there's little hints of green in some of these leaves. But this one is just not going to make it. It looks sickly all the way through. So this one will be a goner. So here we go. So I got this I believe a Green Island ficus in the Sarah Rayner pot. Has some nice movement here. This one grew really fast downstairs in the plant room. There's still some green tips here, and this leaf is still there. We still have some life to this one, so we're not going to get rid of one yet. I love this one right here, and how you can see all those little tiny branches. See how many branches were growing on that one? But this one is so dry and brittle. I don't think there's any more life to this one. And the melon seed ficus, when it is healthy, if you cut back a melon seed ficus like I'm doing right now, you're going to get all kinds of new growth down below. Now if this tree was viable and had life to it, I'd be getting that white, my door just slammed with the wind, I'd be getting that white sap coming out of this tree, and there's no sap coming out of this tree. So now we have a little cute remnant of a tree that died. Yeah, it's pretty sad. You can maybe see the white pastiness on the trunk here. This guy right here, this is one of the brush cherries. Yeah, this one's looking pretty toast. This right here, another one of my ficuses. I've cut back once already, given it this test of life. Stick in a pot, no longer gonna happen. And then these two, hard to tell. Another brush cherry here with one of the other ficuses. This one looks pretty toast. And this one is clinging on to life with some leaves here, but I don't know what's gonna happen with that one. So I will keep these two. We'll keep those two and see what they do in the next couple of weeks. They might cling on, they might hang in there. They've been watered several times to flush them out, and hopefully all of that is gone, that bad fertilizer, and we will move on. So at current count, we've got likely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this one's likely as well, 10. I think this one still has some green on it. Who knows what it'll happen to that one. They're not for sure goners yet, but at our current count, we have 7 right there and likely 5 more up there for a total of 12 so far that have bit the dust because of a real sloppy air. So please take care of your trees and double check, triple check, and I hope my other ones continue to have that slow recovery. I've got another half a dozen out there on the benches that are real kind of shaky, so time will tell. It's sad, isn't it? Yeah. A lot of death, but we'll keep plugging away. We learn a lot from our mistakes. I'm learning a ton this year, unfortunately. So please take care of your trees and double and triple check if you're doing something to it where you think it's a little questionable. Keep doing your research. I will keep doing my research. And that's all we have for this episode. So we'll do this again real soon. We've got early fall work to do. We got some late fall work to do. Some episodes coming up there. We'll show you the plant room as it starts to get into its shape for the winter, as we get the lights in the mail. We'll order those guys, and yeah, lots to come. So hey, take care of you, take care of your bonsai, and we'll catch you on the next one.